Trini, I would lie. We have you can share your little bit of news.
What word?
Your
I
face.
can't. It's not good news. It's really sad news.
Hold on, wait. We just
It's
need
not
to check
healthy at
and
all.
see if we're officially live, though.
Okay.
Oh god. All right.
And we are officially live.
Okay.
No.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the long awaited bonus episode, the superhero franchise talks.
Yes.
And as usual for a bonus episode, we're gonna just slide past the intro, but we do have our very special guest, our moderator. If you want to introduce yourself,
What's up, y'all?
don't be
I
shy.
am a big booty dandy, and that's
Don't
all
be
I need
shy.
to know
You
about
talked a
me.
whole lot of game before this.
I did, and that's all I need to know. I don't know what ops is out there for me, so you should only
Oh
know
my
me as big
god.
booty dandy because I got a big booty and I'm pretty dandy. How y'all doing?
Oh my god!
I'm
But
done. I'm done with the podcast. Good night, everybody. That's
before
all I
we
needed.
jump,
I don't even. What do you want from me? What do you
before we
want?
jump right on into it, Crispy and Trinia had some news they wanted to share. So if you guys want to go ahead and take it,
Do
All
you
right,
want to go, Trinia?
I can go. Mine's pretty sad news actually. Like
I'll back
anybody,
it up with good news.
yeah. So anybody who's like on all types of social, y'all know Linja, like the cooking grandma. She actually passed. Yes, yes,
you're
Linja.
canceled.
She passed. How about what? Let me finish.
Because you drop bad news like
Let
that,
me
you can't
finish.
just no. That's just
The
spoiled.
news has
No,
been out all week. Y'all been under the snow. That's the problem. But Linja, she
I'm in an igloo.
passed.
Yeah.
She actually passed on New Year's Day, but her
What?
son, yeah, she passed on New Year's Day, but her
Was
son's,
she listening to the U2 song?
you're canceled. You're
You're
It's the
both
only good
canceled.
song they have.
Done
so
deal.
she passed on New Year's Day, but she didn't. I don't think she wanted New Year's like the New Year to start off with like her passing. So she did. So her son did post like videos of her and stuff, and on the
Okay.
12th, that's when he announced that she had passed from cancer. She actually had throat cancer. That's why she sounded very raspy in her videos. Um,
Okay.
but I think she went out with a bang. She did the thing. Like she cooked, she traveled. Right before she passed, she was in Paris, I believe. She was doing a lot of traveling before she passed. So I think she lived a pretty adventurous life. I just want to shout out to her. She's a really nice lady. I think she's a grandma for people who don't have grandparents or who have lost grandparents, and pouring out for her. Think about her. Go in the kitchen, throw you it together. A grilled cheese. I know y'all know the video I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
She did like 3 levels of grilled cheese, which was a hot
Oh,
dog bun and like government cheese, and then she did fancy grilled cheese. But think about her when y'all cooked in the kitchen because she was chefing it up.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to Cooking Grandma for the lovely video streams, grandmother, and motherly advice. We are very saddened and hurt by your untimely passing. Everyone, please, also take this time. Reach out to your loved ones. Make sure you tell them you love them. Send them a random potato in the mail. That'll be a conversation me and Crispy have later on because I have an idea that I want to do to our brother. But that's beside the point. Crispy, if you want to take it away with good news.
Yes, please.
amen. Um. So okay. So it looks like what other news I got? So Godzilla versus Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. A new issue came out. We're saying it.
Yes.
Well, let's continue with a little bit of death here. Superman's still dead, so yay.
Woo!
Yeah,
Aquaman
we're
unleashed the
just gonna
Kraken.
follow with that. But while I was reading Godzilla versus Justice League, how we want to pronounce it right now, they have dropped a new series called Kneel Before Zod. That's coming. That came out this month.
Oh, that's
So there's gonna be
cool.
a whole new comic book series about Zod and like of him doing his evasion. It looks like,
Okay.
and I have no other like information about it because like today was like the first day I really found out about it, like not that long ago after I read the fourth issue.
Mm.
Fourth issue was kind of lackluster, not gonna lie. We have more information about more Final Fantasy stuff is happening. So
Yes.
our friend Billy, he dropped that there's gonna be a 30-minute long, what's it called? About 30-minute long
Demo.
demo that we have, and then we have the final trailer that released also with that,
Okay.
including we have on, I believe, February 21st. They're gonna be dropping Final Fantasy VII Advent Child
Advent children.
Children. That's
Advent,
it. That's it.
like Advent calendar. You know.
Yes. No. No. It's their Final Fantasy VII movie that's getting released in the theaters on the 21st.
They're doing a movie. I
Well,
didn't
they
know that.
already had the movie.
Well,
The
it's
movie
been
was
a movie. I think
been
they're just
out.
re-releasing it on a different streaming platform again.
Oh,
No, it's gonna be in theaters, so it's gonna be fun.
Oh, nice.
So me and Billy already signed up. We're gonna be heading out there on February 21st to our local theater that's gonna have it. I assume it's
Enjoy
gonna
it.
be Regal. So
yeah.
hey,
That's,
you can get in the you can get in the 4D, dude.
No,
I
I
saw how
hate
you
4D.
what?
I hate 4D. Those seats are very small and uncomfortable.
they are, but I don't want. Listen, if I don't know if you want to go see Final Fantasy in 4D because they be done like threw you in the air and twirled you around like a helicopter.
And
I don't know.
Those
Omnislash is
4D
gonna
movies
break
can
my
get
neck.
crazy. Yeah, really.
Speaking of that, okay, there's a funny video I sent out to a couple of you guys on Instagram. Trinia does not look at my Instagram videos, so I
I
just
don't.
let Jerry show her if she wants to see it.
I
And
don't. I
she
don't.
hates me. She doesn't like me at all. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't
it's
like
gonna be
you. I'm
great. Oh, your wedding's gonna be great. I'm gonna be the flower boy. It's gonna be awesome. Um,
I remember discussing that with y'all, but I don't like Instagram because the problem with Instagram, and I'm taking shots. That's right,
oh
Instagram.
God, let's not shoot us down quick now.
Literally, if you go, Crispy, if you will go on TikTok, what you sent me on Instagram, I saw it 2 weeks ago on TikTok.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
Yeah, we said
That's the
that. We said
problem.
Instagram,
Yes,
TikTok, Facebook, they're
yes.
all in cahoots.
So
yeah.
if you add me on TikTok, Crispy, I guarantee I'll check your
I'm
TikTok
not
out.
jumping on the TikTok thing. TikTok's for all Gen Z kids.
Crispy, you're
And
literally doing
then
the same thing.
then you got the parents that want to be cool with their kids, so they get the fucking the TikTok, and then they end up making TikTok videos with the kids because they're
Okay.
bored.
So you saying the TikTok for the
The
kids
TikTok.
makes you a parent right there. Just get it, right? And I guarantee you, anything you send me, I will see it.
It's true. She does check TikTok religiously.
I
I
check it
bet she
more.
does.
I check it more. That's how I find my good vibes and good memes.
But
You think it
we're
grows
gonna
on trees?
But
we're gonna move past this because I have been waiting to do. I've been waiting for months because I talked about this episode with Crispy and Josh, but Josh is on sabbatical right now. He's
yep.
preparing for his decathlon. So best of luck to Josh on that decathlon. We look forward to hearing all about how things and training have been going. But this is something I have been waiting forever to do, as I said. The long awaited superhero franchise talks. And I actually wrote notes. So that's how serious this is.
It's all chicken scratch. It's all made up words. He does not have nothing there.
It is Laotian Chinese.
What?
I am fluent in Laos. Yes. But
Did you know about this, Trinia?
I didn't. It might be a
Yeah, we're
super
finding out
agent.
new things.
Might be a super agent. That's what that sounds like to me.
But I guess to,
Secret
go
word.
ahead, get things started and kicked off. So this is, I guess before I get into it, just to lead the conversation, these are going to be some strong opinions. Some people might find them controversial. Some people might find that they're based on no grounds. Screw you. How about that, buddy?
Disney ruined Marvel.
But obviously, if we're going to talk about the superhero franchises, we have to go all the way back to, 2008 when Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. officially kicked off the MCU with its first movie and led up to the 33 total film franchise that has been built up, and I would go as far to say as fallen, because of how the story has concluded with the Infinity War and how they've tried to gear up for the multiverse saga. If
If
anybody wants to go ahead and jump in, I've got
got
plenty
you.
of bullet notes.
I got you.
Okay.
Let's just throw it. Let's just rip the band-aid off. MCU fell off after Endgame. It fell off after Endgame. It was already falling. Let's because y'all
Let's
making
not
it.
sugarcoat it. It was.
I feel like Endgame was like it got pushed off the cliff. That was its like Mufasa got the fingers toes stomped off and was kicked off the cliff. That was the end of it.
God. Ah.
Because the problem, see, you make it a face, but the problem is the movies they built up to this moment. And so when we finally got to like that not the conclusion, but like the top of the mountain, and like
Peak.
Captain picked up the hammer. Yeah, Captain America picked up the fucking hammer. And then Thor finally was like, Thor was back in the picture, and then Iron Man
You mean the Big
and Captain,
Lebowski?
yeah, Iron Man, Iron Man and Captain America were not beefing for like the 5 minutes this fight was taking place. Like, I feel like when you have these three characters that we've seen like what five, like six, seven movies all together, including like their own three movies and then like all the different Avengers, we've seen them constantly cycle through. On top of that, like Black Widow, Hulk,
Oh, don't get me
you
started
know,
with Black Widow. They did that girl
Fury every 2 seconds.
dirty.
Yeah, but like with the characters, like we've seen them progress, get stronger, go through hardships and all of that, and we've experienced that with them. And so at Endgame, that was the conclusion of everybody's story. Like Black Widow's dead. Like Fury got he gone. Uh
He's with the Skrulls.
he
Yeah,
gone.
he went in
He's gone.
space. He's in
He's not
space.
here. He's not here.
You beat me up, Scotty.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
got beamed up. But now with the movies that are coming out, the different TV shows, it's just like they're spitting out these
No.
different heroes and stuff. Like they're
No.
keeping them out of machine.
Okay,
And
no. The way okay, so if like the whole thing with like the pooping out thing is like ridiculous is because like it's just they're trying to pick up these like I hate to say it, they're picking up these no named brand new ass freaking failing characters that I hate to say it, diverse characters that aren't making it because they're going down the route of the diversity route. I hate to say it, there is a bunch of diverse characters out there prior all these characters actually have out there that actually did really great. But they're choosing ones that are failing pretty hard body. And Joe host is joining the broadcast. Oh, Jerry, you're doing the Josh thing. You're doing the
No.
Josh thing.
so are you beaming somebody up, Scotty?
No, this was just us.
Okay, because it's doing the same thing it does with friggin' Josh review.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
weird.
weird.
But no, that's how I feel like it's like they're doing, but they're going with this whole thing completely wrong and set up. But like the whole Nick Fury thing, they definitely trashed Nick Fury's name and they ruined him because with the that new series that came out
Secret
with
Wars.
him, the Secret Wars. That had like Secret Wars has a whole different storyline, a whole different thing, and Nick Fury's this badass character, and we had a badass character for all the franchise, until they just said, "Oh, Nick Fury's an old piece of shit. He doesn't do anything, but he sat on that freaking thing the whole time. He wasn't there for basically the whole event of the whole like anything after Spider-Man not Homecoming, Far From Home, because
Mm,
we know he wasn't even there because he was a scroll in that one."
mm,
So like there's a lot of history we don't even know when he became an actual scroll. So like they literally just tarnished Nick Fury in a way. And like Secret Wars could have been actually super badass if we actually stuck to the whole real storyline. And we would need a lot more characters in that freaking series than what we had. We basically just had the Scroll Wars for no
Mm-hmm.
reason for that series, and they just didn't want to change the name or do anything. They just couldn't like they're they could have scrapped that one in like 2 seconds. They gave what's her name the Game of Thrones chick like all the superpowers in the freaking series. Like every superhero you could think of, she had that ability that was slightly better than that. It's like what it doesn't make any sense with that whole thing.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that character is actually going to stick around in the newer in the newer movies.
Mm,
So
I
I haven't
highly
heard any
doubt it
story. I haven't heard anything about it.
because
It's
okay.
just that was it.
I do agree with what you said somewhat. Disney is trying to play the diversity role because, obviously a lot of, persons of color and just ethnic
Hmm.
characters have never gotten their chance in the spotlight, outside of comics and, dedicated issues to them. But the way that they're going about it isn't trying to, give this person their due diligence and time to shine. You can tell it's obviously
It's a
from all
quota.
the other TV shows that Disney has done with Marvel and also some of these later movies.
Hmm.
They're just doing it to say, like, hey, we're all inclusive. We love everyone. We're trying, and we're definitely not doing this to beat any allegations that we're an insensitive company, which when you obviously the further back you look on a lot of companies, the further you see that they were built on some very tarnished and wrong thought
Yep.
processes. And you can, and I hate to say it is true. I do have some older characters that I would like to see come back into the forefront again, as opposed to some new ones. Not
Hmm.
that I have an issue with, oh, they're giving, like how Ironheart was in Wakanda Forever and she got her time to shine as, the next, Iron person,
I
or
feel like they
how
could have done that one better. I feel like they could have worked her in better.
I feel like they
I
just put her
feel
in.
Wait, what?
I feel like they just put her in, and I hate to
Yeah,
say it, like because she was the blue black Iron Man, and they were trying to make a very like black
she's
inclusive movie. And
she's like how recent is her character in the comics? I feel like she's only like a
I think
couple
she's
she
not
wasn't
very
this year. She's
old.
not
She's
that
pretty
old. She's
young, if I
already.
remember.
yeah,
I
that's
remember
what I
when
mean.
it
Like
came out because I
she's
was excited when she came out. I was like, "Yeah,
I feel like they kind of just jumped the gun with her. Like basically, it feels like she just came out of the gate. I feel like you're saying, like she just who got horseshoed into this movie because she was
Yeah.
like the hottest, newest thing, and like she's technically an Iron Man. They could technically replace like she's a new Iron Man,
mhm,
but like it's just
I would
like
have
it felt like
preferred
she could have
them.
got a series or
Yeah, I
something.
would have preferred her to definitely have a series that turned into a movie just to
There
give
you go.
her some, base work to
Leverage.
build from.
Hmm.
yeah."
Because not shoehorning, that's that's part of
That's
my
the new
Disney,
one.
not my Disney, my DC
That's the new
discussion.
one.
Also have some DC points here, folks. We're going for Marvel and DC. I'm not afraid of either one of
No.
these people. But they did shoehorn in people who had honestly no business being in some of these positions that
Hmm.
they're in. And I'm just gonna stick with Wakanda Forever right now because obviously that movie has a very big significance for African Americans and Black people, but also people of Hispanic descent because they had Namor in the movie as well as a antagonist, quote unquote. But depending on how you view the movie, well, you can make the same arguments for the Wakandans and how they're being very, hoarding with their resources and how they're not willing to essentially share the wealth in a
But
monopoly term.
okay, I'm not gonna lie. I did not see Wakanda Forever.
I've only seen the clips
Um,
on Instagram and TikTok.
but
Yeah.
like that kind of just backhands the first movie though. Like it doesn't seem right because
Wait,
the first movie was like at the end he goes the whole like, "Oh, Killmonger is right. We should share the technology of ours that we have. It's wrong of us to be the only ones with the technology. We should work out a plan to have everybody have this kind of technology around with them." And
Mhm.
now they're hoarding again. Like, what do they do? Like a freaking like
It's they made
backhanded
it
trading?
they was essentially did a ideology trade off. So it was, yes, when Chadwick was still alive and he was the Black Panther, he said, "We're going to open our borders. We're going to help the world. We're going to show you all of our technological wonders."
Yeah.
But then in Wakanda Forever, Angela Bassett, who is now the acting ruler of Wakanda, says, "You guys aren't actually ready for the technology we have. and they made it very self-righteous in a way, which
Is that
I
the?
thought was
That's not the
a very big
mother.
turnoff.
Angela Bassett says she's the mother.
She's
Yeah,
the
she was the
mother.
mother.
She's the mother.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No. Like, I'm just like in my head. I'm like, it doesn't feel like that's her character though.
It's
Doesn't seem out in play like the right like setup that she had.
yeah,
Oh, I mean,
Okay.
because
Angela.
honestly, I think not even I think I do feel strongly that after Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, the writing for all of the movies has just been on this snowball of just going downhill,
Yeah.
and they haven't been fitting what Marvel had built up to with the Avengers, with the Infinity War saga, with Guardians of the Galaxy, and just how we need to be the heroes the world needs and not the heroes we think we are.
No, you're 100% correct on
And
that.
I do feel that, and I'm not blaming the writer strike because they deserve, their protections and money that
Hmm.
they want because, we're moving into the future and that's a separate conversation we'll have for another bonus episode eventually. But you can just tell that some of, this plot was something that just got sat on for so long and they didn't try to revise it or change it in any way. And it almost seems like from the 3 steps forward we took, we moved 2 steps back with all of the writing.
It feels like we took like a good 5-year step back when it comes to quality. That
Yeah.
it's like they're putting it in Chat GP and then going in and just kind of like fixing it up. Because
That
it's
was
like,
another thing. They were talking about AI freaking writing and all that junk.
let me tell you, the AIs, I've 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 played with it. The AIs really can't. If you don't prompt it correctly, it really can't write that well.
Yes.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
can write. Sometimes it can do really well, but it really can't write that well. So being dependent on an AI to
Oh
write an
yeah.
entire script is insane. But I know for me, what I've noticed with like the amount of TV shows and then like the route that the movies are going into, it just seems like they're trying to find like the next hit hero and then just go from there to build off of it. Because it's like, think about it, they did Captain Marvel, and then Captain Marvel didn't do really well. And instead of like really working with it, because
It didn't.
I felt like Brie Larson is a great actress in general, and I felt like the script and how they wrote out Captain Marvel to be just wasn't great. It was terrible. It was shit.
They didn't give her substance. They
They
didn't give
didn't
her
give her enough
personality.
ass. She
They didn't
needs
give
the
her.
ass. Give her the fake booty
They
pad.
didn't.
Put
They
that. Give her ass shots.
You can have personality without ass.
you can.
Tell that to Chris
And
Pratt.
the thing that stop it. But the
That
thing,
man's been gifted with ass since day one of Hollywood. Okay.
and he used to be a chunky boy. That's why he
No,
got
that's what I'm
ass.
saying.
He used to be a chunky boy. You gotta eat. You gotta eat to have some ass. You gotta eat some cornbread. Anyway, the problem is, it's like they did her once they did Captain Marvel. They just give her little 5-minute like shots here and there. And, well, I'm out saving the world. I'm out saving the universe. Okay, but you can't. What about here? Like you're literally, this is your home. Come back. But they're not giving. They just did her movie. It didn't do well, so they're just kind of popping her here and there.
No, even Brie
Moon Knight,
Larson's over it.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It doesn't help that the actor actress isn't gun ho anymore with the character anymore because
she
of
might not be
fan
gung ho for the character.
backlash.
Well, like she might not be gung ho for the character. I understand she's not gung ho character because of the backlash, but also it goes back to the fact that she's an actress acting with what she has, and people shitting on her because they're like, "Oh, well, you're just a terrible actress." Like I've seen her in movies; she can do a little something. Something.
She's very good.
She's a
I
very
like
good
her in Scott
actress.
Pilgrim.
She's a very good actress. It's just Marvel. It's okay to be like, y'all gave an actor a very shit script, and she did what she could with it. And
And
she's
I
a
think
very
that's a
good, like she's a very
Oh,
nice person. Like I've seen her
not
in
gonna
interviews.
say anything, but Samuel L. Jackson got young again for his role. Really, he looked really great. He worked with whoever the script had to give him on that one. He looked amazing.
I don't
and
know how
I
you
think
revert
it's a
it.
funny thing that you mentioned that, Trinium, because one big problem that Marvel definitely has, they've lost essentially their Mount Rushmore of faces because Tony's
True.
dead in the movies, Cap is dead, Thor is indisposed because Chris Hemsworth, he comes from a family genetics who have a very high percentage of Alzheimer's, so he wants to
He's
take a
coming
step
back.
back. Oh, is he coming back now?
He's coming back. It's good. It's redundant. It's so redundant as hell. I think he's just over Disney, and he's just like he's just trying to find his out, but they just like they finally did find the out or something like that.
Mhm.
Because it looks like they greenlight Thor 4. No, not Thor 4.
Thor
Thor
5.
5.
Four.
And they are giving him a somewhat set up a sub script they have for him, and he's getting ready. But no, I know you're right with the information, like with the whole what's it called, Alzheimer's he had. Was it
Yes.
Alzheimer's?
It's
Yeah,
Alzheimer's or dementia, both
yeah.
very degenerative diseases, but I can't remember which one.
I thought he was gonna
Oh,
step away way longer than he was supposed to. What?
who got Alzheimer's?
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris
He,
Hemsworth, both sides of his family have very high percentages of Alzheimer's, so
yeah,
he wanted to take a step back from acting to, make lasting memories with his
yeah.
family and friends.
I
Oh,
think he
that's
wanted to do a
cool.
good like 5 years or something like that.
That's what I
As was
thought he
planned,
said.
but it kind of just like fell back into he's back in the Disney again. What
We
are you gonna
probably
do?
just want to take a
Yeah.
little break. Need some money. But I will say though, this also circles back to the fact that the like the universe started off with like Iron Man, and then they built it up with Captain America and Thor. If you think about it, them three were like the embodiment of like the entire universe. If you think about it, like you had all your heroes here and there, but it always
Hmm.
came back to Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. One of them
True.
three.
That's very true. They
Even though
they essentially helped make the superhero franchise what it is now.
Yeah.
True, even though Thor's movies were very lackluster to until like Ragnarok, that's what I think the breaking point for Thor was with like is like Ragnarok movie. But like
Yeah,
before everybody shit on Thor movies, even though I enjoyed the Thor movies, I think they could have been better quality of filming
Yeah.
and a little bit here and there direction.
I agree.
But
Yes.
they weren't terrible. They were good enough, but people put them on the shit can list like
I like Dark
at
World.
I
low
thought
tiers.
Thor Dark World was better than the first one.
I
Yeah.
did too. But
And
that
I'm not gonna say I hated it because
Mhm,
I'm gonna say it. I'm a part of the problem with audience who, well, first thing is I hated that movie. It was the worst thing I ever saw. But
Hmm.
in all actuality, I didn't like the first Thor movie. It just didn't resonate well with me. But
mhm,
Dark World, Ragnarok, Love and Thunder, some people didn't like them a lot. They say they're the worst things. But for me, I'm like, I enjoyed it more because you're getting back to what Thor is in Norse mythology.
mhm,
He's not just always this angry, pissed off guy. He's a goofball. He's
Hmm.
he's a Norseman. He
yeah,
enjoys his downtime, and when it's time to get serious, he does it. And I thought
mhm.
Chris Hemsworth played that part very well and executed it honestly better than what anyone else could have.
Are you talking about Love and Thunder or like in
I'm talking
Dark World.
Dark World, Ragnarok, and Love and Thunder. Even
I
when he
will
was the Big Lebowski during Endgame, he still did all of that fantastically.
I love
Because when you
I
look
love
at
that.
Thor in Norse mythology, he's got the beard gut and he's got that big, thick, bushy beard.
Mhm. But
I
the
And
thing,
will,
what did we get? That in a freaking T with him playing Fortnite, which was very funny.
oh no,
that was.
oh no. But
I
like,
will say though, I didn't like when we initially saw Love and Thunder in theaters, like I enjoyed it. I would say like, oh, I loved it, but I enjoyed it. But what I didn't like about it was I felt like compared to like Endgame Thor, I felt like like he took some steps back personality wise or like what he had developed into at by Endgame because he had the beer gut and stuff and he come to accept like his gut because he's like me being fat doesn't define me. But then I felt like we got to Love and Thunder and it was like I'm gonna get fit and I'm gonna be bad Thor. I'm gonna be baddie Thor like I was back in the day before I got fat.
Mm.
And I felt like,
That's
okay,
very true.
I'm
I
like,
agree with
I'm
that.
like, I feel like we just kind of lost that. The whole point of his part in the Endgame was him getting to the point where he accepted that of himself. And then, like, what's his name? Takati Wadati, whatever his name is.
You mean the
Who?
director?
Yeah, him.
No, he's the one. The reason why
He,
we had an issue with Love and Thunder because his
yeah,
direction and this is his. So
he did.
Ragnarok wasn't written by him; it
I
was
know
just
it wasn't.
directed
I
by
know
him.
he did Love and Thunder.
This one, he wrote it. So this one, he did not do a great job with it with the writing,
His
and
Mhm.
I
like
just
his humor,
Very chaotic writing.
yeah.
you can tell when it's him writing something because the humor was the same. Like the goat joke, I was the first time I was like, okay, that's funny. I love the screaming goats. The eighth time, I was like, do you have another joke?
Well, like the goat thing is like part of mythology for Thor. He's supposed to have the goats at some point.
But the
So
amount of time
no, but
that the goats were
it just
used as like
yelling.
a
Yeah.
pun,
Yeah, no.
as a pun of a joke. Like I understand that part, but it was just the point he was using it as a pun, like to do a joke.
It's a fill in the gapper. That's all I can call it.
Yeah,
Like
when he
there's a
didn't have
dead
anything else
air.
to do.
Just bring in the goat. Then you got that.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? He just, I don't know. He just, I feel like with Thor's story, he just kind of like put it,
He
just made
dumbed
it.
him down too much from the development he made.
Yeah.
But that's
And
how he had him in Ragnarok. In Ragnarok, he was kind of like he was still playful Thor and on a mission. And
Mhm.
then that's what they basically did with this instead of like Trini is saying, it's totally 100% true. Like and from from Ragnarok to Endgame, he like actually gained like more level to himself with how he's supposed to become a person and
Yeah,
how this is set
yeah.
up. And then Love and Thunder, they just shot him back to Ragnarok area where he was more low level. I'm just doing my day to day coasting through life thing. I'm dumb. Oh, now I got a daughter. I
yeah,
felt bad I killed her father.
Mhm.
Like,
and I do feel that part of the shift in the Marvel movies does stem from Guardians of the Galaxy because obviously with Guardians of the Galaxy, it did begin MCU's action comedy drama phase.
but
And
that
for
works for
Guardians,
them
it works for them. That's their
because they're the
motif.
misfits.
But
They're
now you're
meant to be
bringing it
men.
into Ant-Man, you're bringing it into Thor. I mean, even bits and pieces of it have been in Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all the other recent movies. And
Well,
I'm
like
like, no, that's not what I want out of these films. I
well,
want them to do
Spider-Man.
something different.
Spider-Man is a different thing. Spider-Man is always supposed to be his little quick, witty, little humor and everything, and all that junk. And like, it's supposed to have that little the light humor into it. Doctor Strange totally out. I don't know why we did this whole route with him in that one. I love Sam Raimi, but that whole decision of where that went didn't feel Sam Raimi. Like
No, that was
the
definitely
directing,
influenced by a Disney CEO saying, put it in or you're fired and we're taking the money back
yes,
at gunpoint. This
and
is me holding the gun.
like it's just like the directing and everything, camera angles, everything is Sam Raimi. It's just that the writing was not Sam Raimi,
No,
and I just realized you have that what's it called the house with the one had day one.
day one of quarantine because I'm stuck in the house. We had a snowstorm in Tennessee
Oh
and I'm
my
stuck in the house.
god.
God.
I was gonna tell you to fix that. I'm like, what are we doing?
This is day one of my quarantine.
Is it or
Oh
is it
my
day two?
Day one. MLK Day is a free day,
Well, not for me. I still have to
what?
but that's beside the point.
When you're quarantined in your house, how's that a
be
free?
free.
I do want to ask you guys a very serious question.
Okay.
So
What?
obviously we know about the semi partnership that Disney has done with Sony Pictures with Spider-Man and Venom.
Hmm.
For
Yes.
me, I feel very strongly that they ruined both movies
What's Venom?
because Venom and Spider-Man. Because since Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man back in I think what 2002, 2003, something like that, we've had two other Spider-Men, which was Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. And now we have, the animated Spider-Man with Miles Morales, which I'm perfectly fine with just having him be an animated Spider-Person.
True.
But
They did great with those.
I do think that both companies are at fault for why we've had to have so many extra steps put into things. Because with Venom, we all know Venom. He is not a PG-13 type of anti-hero. He's not a PG type of person you show on screen. Venom is he says they, them, because he's two people and one of them is a symbiotic parasite that gives him superpowers and somewhat psychosis because okay, now I've got this other voice in my head who can basically make my body do what it wants against my will. And obviously with Spider-Man, as we've seen with Andrew Garfield, the Amazing Spider-Man movies were not fantastic in any caliber of the word. But when he came into Tom Holland's No Way Home, we saw that if you would have given him a different script and a great set of, cast members and directors, he would have had a very great set of movies.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, they didn't. Okay, Andrew Garfield was set to his Spider-Man was set up to be disaster automatically from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna shit on him 100% as I saw him in the freaking for No Way Home. He did a great job in it, but like they just did Sony the directions for those movies the wrong way. It just feels like you had really good actors.
You
It's
had
just the
Woody
poor
Harrelson be
decisions.
Carnage. Woody Harrelson.
That's Venom. That's Venom universe. Okay, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about Andrew Garfield at the moment. Okay, like we had the whole setups with him, and we had great actors to work with him and be villains, and then they just chalked it out and just designed them wrong, gave them the wrong motives, and everything else. It didn't feel right, and like we got to see him in No Way Home. We saw each villain from that movie series do stuff and act the way they should be acting and including look how they're supposed to look, even with the modern twist. Because I'm not gonna lie, Jamie Foxx in a green and yellow lightning bolt costume thing would look absolutely ridiculous. I would still pay money though, but it would look ridiculous. He did get his lightning mask his like lightning crown at one point. He did conduct that for a second for us, but that was really it. But they kept them more modern and to the point instead of turning them blue and eel looking for some reason. They had I don't know. Yeah,
They
because
did
I
do
don't.
that. Yeah.
I hated that because like that's about the one movie I really feel like they did dirty for that movie series, 100%. Because for some reason they chose Electro. Electro is a really good villain, but for some reason they had to give him like his electric abilities from falling into a bat of like electric eels, and he gets attacked and mauled by them, and he gets pronounced dead, and he resurrects as this lightning generated person,
Dr. Manhattan.
generated person. What? Yeah,
Dr. Manhattan.
basically, yeah. But he's been cross infused with electric eels when you look at his face more by his lips and stuff, and it doesn't look right, and it's like no.
I've only
It's
ever watched one Amazing Spider-Man, and I think it was the very first one with James Franco, if I remember correctly.
what?
Yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. I've only ever seen one. And James Franco,
Franco's not in it.
I swear he's. Hold on, let me look this
No,
up.
he's not in. James Franco's in the original trilogy.
Hold on.
Okay, you're watching the wrong movies. Trinia, he's watching the wrong movies.
Hold on.
No, James Franco's not in that movie. Because
it's one of the Francos. I swear.
Oh, the younger brother.
That's right. They both look very much alike, and I thought that was James Franco.
Now it's funny enough. James Franco is in the original.
I remember him in the original.
No, he's in the. He was
He
he
was
plays
Harry?
the he
No.
plays Harry,
Yeah, he plays
but
Harry.
like he
Really?
plays Harry
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like it's
yeah,
like
it
kind
was.
of funny.
Oh my God.
They kind of play almost like it feels like they almost played almost a similar characters, but the kid from Chronicle ends up becoming Harry in the second movie. The
Oh
evil
yeah.
the evil stupid one that overpowers himself.
Yeah, he becomes I am the apex, and he crunches
And
that cup. We'll say that
yeah,
that's not here to talk about
different.
because I do want to use that for an episode.
But that's another thing that's stupid about that movie about is like that they put too many villains in that movie and it's stupid. Stupid.
It's
It's stupid
rhetorical.
because they have
Oh yeah.
Harry in it and they bring in the father and the father's always the green goblin, but he's not declared the green goblin. And then Harry finds out he has a disease, and he then becomes the freaking green goblin later on. And instead of being was it
The hobgoblin.
the hobgoblin? I always screw up the names for
It's
him.
too many goblins.
Yeah, so I'm like, and I'm just like, why did we skip you? Like, why did we jump to you as the Green Goblin? Said what you're supposed to be, and your father does not have. Technically, yes, it's a disease, but it's not a disease. Like
Mhm.
it's a man-made disease, and they don't explain it pretty well.
They don't. It
It
was
just
weird, to be
he
honest.
That
just
was
seems
very
he's
weird.
just in this weird disease, and he's turning into an elf. An
Yeah.
old, elderly, long, just decaying elf creature. More of a goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a goblin,
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
it's like
Because he is the Green Goblin, it makes more sense. He's just turning into a decaying goblin. Where's Goblin Slayer?
no,
Yeah.
no.
But I do want Disney to own up to the fact they have somewhat ruined superhero movies because at this point, I do still watch them, but I watch them so sparingly. I haven't watched the new Aquaman. I just finally watched Blue Beetle. I still haven't watched the Eternals. I haven't watched several other Marvel movies and DC movies for that matter because they just have not been what I wanted.
Okay, let's look. Hold on, let me Google. Before we jump the gun to another
We're sticking with
universe or
Marvel. I just
franchise,
wanted to throw
but
DC in as well.
okay, but I just want to see something here. Hold on. Okay, worst Marvel
Oh no, I know where this is going.
live action movies. Okay, top 10 worst Marvel.
Um,
Okay, so basically, it automatically goes to the Fantastic Four movie from 1994.
they always do
Then
Fantastic Four.
the Nick Fury Agent of Shield. I forgot about that's a thing from 1998. That was a 2.1 out of 5 rating.
How
I
about
don't even
Um,
remember
something
that.
that's like
Captain America. This is going all over the board. It's not even the Marvel universe, like the Marvel cinematic universe that we have
We're
now.
going back
Cap-
to before we had a singular focal point.
yeah, you have Captain America 1997. That's when he had a biker helmet on his head.
oh
Are they going to do the 1960s Avengers when Iron Man looked like a you know what?
Let's not get there yet. Um, Man Thing 2005.
Man,
I
thing.
definitely forgot about that.
Did I watch
Um,
anything?
Captain America 1990.
I
It
don't.
got better, but no.
1990.
I
Yeah,
think this list sounds like it's picking everything before Iron
throughout.
Man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, here's one after Iron Man. Ghost Rider. Let's talk about Ghost Rider after this one.
Uh,
Ghost Rider:
Wait,
The
when did
Spirit of
Ghost Rider come
Vengeance,
out?
2000.
Oh,
Ghost
Spirit
Rider,
of Vengeance.
yeah, Spirit of Vengeance. From its 2000. Well, Ghost Rider actually came out in 2007.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know the first Ghost Rider
it
came
came
out
out
a
in
year before Iron
2007.
Man because I remember going to
Yeah.
theaters and watching that with my aunt.
Then we have the Inhumans as number 4, the first
We
chapter,
don't talk about that.
and it did not get anywhere.
We did not
Um,
talk
Like
about that.
that, we do not.
Morbius,
It's
It's
more
and
more
than
than
that.
time.
then no, we're not
Honestly, I
Morbius.
have watched a little bit of that. It's not bad. It's not Jared Leto's fault. I'm not pinning the blame on Jared Leto. I'm
I
once again
still haven't
blaming
watched
the
it yet.
writers and
Blame
directors
always
for that
gets
one.
thrown on him for some reason.
Then
Which
we
is
have
trash.
number 2, Electra, the girl from Daredevil.
Electra from
Yeah,
Daredevil?
Yeah,
She did get a movie. I
she got a
forgot.
movie.
I
Remember
remember
that?
that because it
Oh,
wasn't it
jeez.
Gardner? What's her name? The actress.
I
Um,
forget her name.
I
I'm
it's
not
something
gonna
forget her
Gardner.
lie.
name.
Jennifer Garner. You're right.
Jennifer Gardner. Yeah.
Then the number 1 worst movies from this site that I chose randomly was Fantastic Four from 2015. And Dennis DeMarco, what the fuck are you even talking about?
We're talking
These are
about
old fucking
superhero
movies, buddy.
movies and all the problems that we have with things and liberties that have been taken.
Okay, let me see. Let me pinpoint this more down to MCU.
Since he's pinning that
MCU.
down, so Trinia, obviously, we've all watched a lot of the Marvel movies.
Yes. Yes.
Where would you say the real paradigm shift from, oh, this is a great, series of movies to they're doing too much and they're ruining what could be a very stable and solid franchise?
Can you read that? Because I just blanked.
Oh,
I just blanked because I'm really just like thinking about that list, and I'm like, I haven't heard of any of those outside.
I've heard of those.
No, I have heard of them
The only one
myself.
I've heard of is like Fantastic Four and Daredevil.
Oh, basically, what I'd ask was at what point during the Infinity War saga do you feel that Marvel took the paradigm shift that started to slowly begin to ruin it?
Um,
If you need a minute, I can give my opinion on it to give you a
to
moment.
be honest, I could see it with the Age of Ultron. People shit on Age of Ultron, but I actually like that movie. I'll be honest, I haven't watched it since, but like
Wait, hold on. I thought we were choosing the time when it peaked, where it
now what it I'm
started
thinking
decreasing.
that's what I'm saying. Like I liked it then. I liked Age of Ultron, right? And then
Okay.
after that, like after Age of Ultron, what came out? Was it Civil War or
Yeah, that was all the third and second movies for some
hmm
of them. Yes.
yeah? So I feel like Civil War came out. It was pretty good. I enjoyed Civil War, and then it was when this movie started getting like those comedic bits, and they started getting more frequent. I don't know about y'all, but when I'm watching a serious movie or like action drama movie, don't
So
want
basic.
too much comedy in it because I feel like after a while it starts to take away from what like the plot or the story that you're trying to portray.
So you're Trini, you're trying to tell me right now that you think anything after basically Guardians 2 is where it peaks down more?
I
Because
agree.
that's where it technically goes.
I
Like
agree. I
after
enjoy
Guardians
Guardians.
2, everything started getting filled with more comedy than ever.
Yeah, look to me, yeah. Like I don't mind the comedy, but I felt like it just there were points to where it was just too much. Like it's
Mm.
like okay, like ha ha ha
I'm not
ha ha. Cat, okay, Iron Man's parents are dead. Ha 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 ha. Like what? Like what?
what?
Like why are you trying to make me laugh right now? I'm trying to figure out what this man is. Where's your friend Cap? Why are you trying to be funny? Why is the joke focused on your ass right now? It's fantastic, but the fact that they made this is America's ass joke like 20 times the whole movie, I was like, okay, we get it. He has leg day like 8 times a week. Like
He runs
he run,
20
he
miles a
runs
day. Come
20
on
miles
now.
for fun. He runs a mile. Like
On your left.
yeah, but it got to the point where I was like, I enjoyed the movies, but
Mhm.
I was over it. I was like, okay, I'm over it.
I don't know, I'm not gonna lie. I am one of those people that actually enjoy Age of Ultron.
I
I
did.
I'm
I
not.
thought Age of Ultron was a very well put together movie.
I did
I do
too.
not. It could need. There's some parts where it could get polished, but it's it's not terrible. It's not a bad movie. It has a good concept and how everything can go wrong if you play with something you don't know what the fuck you're playing with. And Yeah, and like how this AI monster basically what we talk about today with AI, how AI could probably
Is
if
what happened.
AI can get in the wrong hands or if it goes haywire and reads an information and builds off of that, it can just turn evil as fuck. And
Mhm.
that's what happened with Age of Ultron. Ultron went through everything and figured out what the fuck is wrong and said, we gotta fix things. Humans are the problem. And yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. How long how long in the
We're day
quarantine?
one in quarantine.
Day one.
Day
Day
one.
one.
But
Yeah.
no, I do agree with what both Crispy and Trinia said. Age of Ultron did have, I'm not gonna say some, but it did have a lot of, future esque moments being brought to, when did it come out? 2015, 20. I don't really remember much.
Oh, I got you. I
Age of
got you.
Ultron?
Yeah,
I got you.
2014, 15.
Yeah,
It was
no,
something
yeah,
like
no,
that.
it was no,
2050.
because the first one, yeah, 2015, because the first movie came out
2012.
2012.
Yeah. But I digress. I was distracted trying to remember. Age of Ultron for me was the last Marvel movie that really showed when the heroes had a lesson to learn from. Because everything after that, yes, they did still have a lesson to learn, but it didn't impact how the stories were being told.
Mhm.
Because
Well,
when we
there's no
look,
safety net
yeah,
in
because
that
look
movie.
back with Iron Man, Captain, maybe not Captain, but I'll say Iron Man. In
Okay.
every one of Iron Man's films, when he learned, okay, I'm the problem for this, I need to also be the solution.
Mhm.
And because, obviously, what was Tony Stark known for? Being the world's biggest fucking arms dealer. And he was essentially selling futuristic weaponry at such a rate that people were willing to blow up military convoys to steal these weapons of mass destruction
Oh yeah,
that
Yeah.
honestly could rival a nuclear bomb. I
true.
mean, look at what
Honestly.
he made. He
Yeah.
made the arc reactor, and that in itself was such a big and powerful device that if that would have slipped into any evildoer's hands, that would have been the end of known, superhero society
Well,
as need be.
Mhm.
Because
we
from
did
there
have
you can only
Whiplash,
go
and
up, particle accelerators, anti-grav machines,
mhm,
fucking thermonuclear bombs that can be shot from your wrist.
basically, yeah. But no, it's the thing is like we had Whiplash actually do the whole creation of the arc reactor and everything, basically in like a rundown freaking Russian house, like that
Well,
had
he cooks
nothing.
meth.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah.
he was
No, but
cooking
like
meth.
the thing is like
Thank
even
you
like
for doing this.
Tony made one in a cave. We like to bring that all the time, like all the time up. Like Tony made it in a cave with scrap missiles. That's basically how he made his to make him power up his first suit for a bit and keep himself from dying from like the metal reaching his heart and shit. And like in the first movie, like the second movie, we see Ivan. Well, let's go with Ivan Ooze for now because I can't remember his last name. Um, so he's just like he makes his in his house in Russia, and Iron Man actually, you, like look at the movie, he does analyze the freaking the device and says, "Yeah, yours is trash," and just breaks it because it finds out it was still slightly worse than a cave made one from scrapped missiles somehow
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
they're I no, it's just Tony Stark is hands down this one of the smartest freaking men in this universe. So like it has that thing's definitely gonna be better. They had to probably just wrote that in the script to make it even better, like worse than his first is one from the cave.
Mhm.
But like but it's like still that man still made one. If he
Yeah,
had the right setup and everything,
he was
anybody could have it. They had the blueprints,
the
anything they
beginning
could
part
try
of
it.
learning is making mistakes and failing.
But but the Tony Martin Stark's one biggest mistake is putting in a mini reactor in each one of his suits and letting anybody basically pilot it if he can get into it. And how hard is it a lot of people can hack a lot of shit nowadays. I can see someone hacking into Stark's freaking suits and just popping themselves in it. Technically, freaking Rhodey did it.
Rhodey did it.
Rhodey did jump into the
To be
what's it
fair,
called?
though, like
Mark III.
there aren't that many people that are as smart as him, but that's why he took Rhodey under his wing because he was like, "Oh shit, this little boy here can kind of work. This is a smart little boy." And like with
Doesn't sound right.
that's a
But
smart little
but
gremlin right
Rhodey's
there.
been his bestie. Like that's the thing. Rhodey's been his bestie since
Rhodey has
forever,
been
like
his
forever.
ride or die.
And that's that's the one thing. Rhodey saw him failing, falling down, and said, "I'm going to take your creation and put you more in the ground for a bit."
Hmm.
And he beat the shit out of him, and then took it that freaking Mark. No, that's the Mark II. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mark
that was
II
Mark II.
back to the freaking military base, and they ripped it apart to make it even better or worse with Hammer Tech. Oh, Hammer Tech.
Mm-mm-mm. But we could honestly sit here and talk about Marvel for 3 and 4 hour plus. I just wanted to quickly ask: did you guys want to finish up Marvel before we switch over to DC, or did you want to go ahead and move on to DC? Because I
Let's go
have
ahead
so
and
many
move
talking
on.
points on DC.
Let's go ahead and
Like,
move to DC because, to be honest, Marvel is just a cesspool and cycle of continuous mess. They continue to
mhm.
release
Mm-hmm.
mess, and and to put it simply, it's been agreed upon the Marvel community that if they don't get their act together, then fans will not continue to go to theaters and support them. So
True.
get it
Very
together.
true.
That's
But
the
I'm
best way.
just
Just get it together.
I just want to say one thing, and I don't want to keep bringing it up, but lately is the biggest thing out there. Godzilla minus one. I hate to say it. They only had a small budget. They had a small budget, $15 million. Made amazing work out of $15 million,
I was gonna bring that up at the end.
and Disney can't hold a fucking movie to save their ass that's quadruple billion, like
Three
even
hundred
way more
million
than
dollar
that.
budget,
That freaking movie budget.
$600 million
They are
budget.
wasting hundreds of millions of dollars on movies that can't even get their foot out the fucking door. They trip over a freaking their own shoelace, and then Godzilla comes out the door here in a foreign movie also and crushes numbers in America, where we can't even have that done with a Disney movie, with a new any Disney movie. I'm gonna attack the whole Disney universe.
Let me see
Disney
when
can't
they
even do that
production of
half the
this
time.
movie.
Hmm?
I said, let me see when they started producing this movie.
What, Godzilla minus one?
Yeah.
The last I checked, I think they had doubled what their budget was.
They were almost breaking. I want to say they kind of. I think they did almost like they tripled their budget.
Let
Then
me
a
just check
bit.
very
Hold on.
briefly.
Okay.
So far at box office, it has grossed almost 100 million.
Yes.
So 100 million grossed with, a $15 million budget. The quality speaks for itself.
Yes. And that's really good storytelling. They had decent CGI when they needed it to be a thing.
Yeah, comic
And
breath.
So
yes, oh my god.
it looks like they started writing and stuff for it. Like it looks like 2020, like not 2020, 2019, it looked like,
Hmm.
or like
Mm-hmm.
2020, one of those. Because COVID came through and kind of had everybody locked down, so there wasn't much they could do. So
This I'm not gonna lie, this project was like a myth thing because Shin Godzilla was supposed to be like it for a bit,
yeah.
and then it was supposed to be the whole American series shit.
Hmm.
Then out of nowhere, they just said, "Here we go, 2000 freaking 2023. We're gonna start dropping some hints here and there. We're gonna drop another Godzilla movie." They kept that thing under wraps for a bit, and they did a good job.
Mm-hmm. They did a fantastic job.
They did. They
Hmm.
really did.
But I have another movie I'm going to throw in the mix after we talk about DC because, once we finish talking the superhero business, I would like to, give due diligence and flowers to all the small movies who have had very big impacts within the last, several months of and years of cinema. So,
like the lamb.
moving on to DC, unfortunately. So obviously, we all know DC EU or how whatever they wanted to call their universe
The
started
James
with
Gunn
Man of Steel
universe.
back in 2013, and from there, DC went on such a spiraling roller coaster. I thought they might go bankrupt in terms of their cinema
Oh
and live actions because DC,
no!
we all know DC's bread and butter is their animated content, their
Oh,
animated
definitely.
TV shows, and their animated movies.
They're gonna hit every
That's
time.
sorry. Before we go any further, that's the funny thing because Marvel animated movies like
It's
are
Suck.
so
here and there,
They suck.
and Disney, not I mean the DC's movie like animated movies are amazing, and then the live actions for freaking Marvel are amazing until now, and then the DC's movies always been trashed for live action, so it's kind of funny.
It's a very unusual thing because DC managed to hit the mark, and there's nothing wrong with sticking to animated genres because obviously animation in itself is another big task and is hard to
Mhm.
do, but you don't have to worry about the human clerical error, so to speak, because you're getting voice actors in. And I'm not saying voice acting is easy by any means. Voice
Mhm.
actors deserve every bit of money that they charge and everything that they believe they're worth. It is
Mhm.
not easy to nail a voice for a person that you have to imagine in your mind's eye first and bring to life. And I mean, with all of DC's animation, look at it. You've had Teen Titans, which was still arguably the best animated project they've ever put out. You've got Young Justice, another great and fantastic project. And then you've got all their animated Justice League movies. You've got the Red Son Superman. You've got some of the Batman things. And hell, you even have Batman Beyond, which, again,
That
this is what
is such
DC
a
is known for. They're bringing so much just hard hitting, emotions into an animated format, and it's easier to adapt to because, seeing another human being go through some of that is hard to deal with and manage to explain to other people and process as a person yourself. But with the animation context, you're like, okay, this is a fictitious character going through a real world problem and situation. This is a lot easier for me to, I'm not going to say grasp onto, but this is easier for me to handle because it's, some of the things that DC does portray in their animation, not animation, but, just animated content would be very just sickening to see in a live action setting.
Mhm.
Ooh, hang on, I gotta take me a drink. I'm thirsty.
Figures you ranting real hard. I will say this. I need whatever they put in the water and the people in the animated studio, they need to put it in a live action. It's terrible.
Absolutely.
Well, that's
It's terrible.
the thing is,
It's
like
terrible.
work like how like with the live with the animated movie like movies and everything. It's I'm not gonna lie, it's easier to work with that because you animate yourself this character, and you can choose from millions of people that are working in that industry to voice that character.
I'm talking about
Mhm.
just a good.
Doesn't
I'm talking
matter.
about a good plot.
And
At this,
but like
you got writers. To,
but the thing is like you're at the right you got your writers, you can write amazing script, but you just have to find the right person now to be your living person, to be that
Yeah.
for that fill those shoes. And you had to go through all this stuff. Oh, Jerry, okay, so let's say we're doing fuck it, Aquaman. Jerry's voice sounds freaking amazing for Aquaman. I'm hiring him for Aquaman.
huh.
Done deal.
Yeah.
They already animated this goddamn Aquaman. He looks like this. I'm gonna show Jerry a picture of this Aquaman if I already had it done up and says, "What do you think this sounds like?" Give him a little bit of twist to your voice that fits this character,
Yes.
and that's it. All right, Jerry did a great job of it. Here's your money, and let's go in this way. Now we go to a live action. I had to pick from like 5, 20 freaking white men that think they can be Aquaman.
And then you obviously have to go with the hunkiest of all of them because you
Yep,
want to
and you
have
have to
somebody physically, that's going to
fit.
look like the role, but also be
Yep.
pleasing to the eye, so to speak, so that
Hmm.
viewers won't find, the costume jarring on them or the actors, facial expressions are just, how everyone has physical tendencies they do.
Hmm.
You want to find somebody that'll be that perfect median. And obviously, as we've seen recently with we don't have to get too much into it, but some of the troubles that have come from live action actors and also
Hmm.
voice actors as well. They're not excluded, but it's been more so just live action actors. They've had a lot of issues.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
like I'm not saying like, oh, it's easier. I'm not saying like, and I'm not talking about that in aspect. I'm just like the plots alone for me is what's getting me. I'm not talking about the actors and whatnot. It's just like the stories. Like if they're trying to create like a DC universe, it's not hitting to me. It's not. It's just not. So
Mm.
I'm like, whoever is whipping it up in the studio when it comes
The
to just like the storylines and whatnot.
with
You
Hmm
know, they just need to
the
do it.
thing with the
they know what they're doing and they know what we want.
but the thing is like with like live action for DC is like they it's not 'cause it's like you have to have the right stepping stone that they give you give the franchise. And let Marvel started with Iron Man. Iron Man was nice and campy and did really well. And then it fit the flow. They changed the character up a little bit to be likable for everybody else. DC, where if Josh was here to actually give this a better freaking example for this. But with DC, with the Zack Snyder universe, they took freaking was it still wow Superman, and they just dropped the ball of him. They made his storyline darker. They did not give him the personality of how Superman is in the comics. His humor was lacking of that. It was more darker and everything. And yeah, they didn't really give the whole shebang that you wanted. They kind of just gave you the neutral colorization of the
Hmm
Superman universe, and it's just what we got. They
And
didn't give us a good stepping stone. They give us something that it kind of worked, but it was hard to watch for
not to
us.
forget, DC cast Ryan Reynolds to be Green Lantern.
We don't talk about that.
And that no, I
That's not.
will
That's
I will
ECU.
take
That's not.
this hill all the way to Space Jesus. DC
Dog,
does not know how to cast.
they don't.
They always find a way, and I don't think Ryan Reynolds is a bad actor. I think he's a
Mhm.
great actor in the right settings. But for a superhero movie, as Deadpool, he's good. As Green Lantern,
Because
it
he
was
is Deadpool.
terrible.
That's
He
the problem.
even hated Green Lantern and made fun of it in Deadpool too.
He
That
did.
yeah, he did.
He did.
I really want whoever is running DC's live action, DC Warner Brothers, Discovery, Warner Brothers, whatever the hell the fucking dumb shit is now. I want each one of them to be put to the whipping post and given 50 lashes.
They saw. They were like, he has the look, and he's probably like, I don't know about this. Well, you
I
have the
would
look.
have had if I was doing the Green Lantern movie, I obviously would have picked somebody way different to be Hal Jordan. I would have cast fucking Ryan Reynolds as another random fucking Green Lantern. There are so many GLs, even just another Lantern in general.
GL just not
True.
the
He
game.
could have been Alan
Yeah.
Scott for all I care.
The thing is, like, okay, this can go on forever with Jerry with the Green Lanterns because
I know.
Jerry is our Green Lantern nut on the
Yeah,
podcast. But like, it's just no Ryan Reynolds did not fit the whole key of like Hal Jordan, different kind of demeanor, and because Ryan Reynolds can be serious, but he's always jokey, and that's why they went with that movie. And including the CGI fucking suit was terrible. Um, yeah, they had bad
The best
choices.
part of that movie was Kilowog.
He what? Okay. But like the one thing that's bad about like this though, they have an attempt a live action Green Lantern movie, like show, like anything, like in any of the movies, we had to wait until the Zack Snyder director's cut edition of his Justice League movie to come out.
Before we even saw another mention of them.
Yeah, that's when we saw one lantern bite the fucking dust. And like Greek mythology days, like you had Zeus and everybody still kicking around. That was another stupid thing. In the Zack Snyder universe, they fucking killed the gods. They killed all the Greek gods. For some stupid reason, they're all dead. Why are they dead? They're all serving purposes in like all of the freaking storylines here and there. And they just said, fuck it, let's kill them off. But wait. Wonder Woman, we killed them off though with the whole he's dead, they're all dead. Justice League, they're back for like the first beginning of the movie, just to give you a little taste of what we could have done with them. And then later on, Wonder Woman 2. How'd you learn how to do this? My father taught me. Zeus is dead, bitch. How did he teach you how to do things?
How do you do that? How do you do that little trick there?
I have so many issues with Zeus that I cannot afford the time slot to talk about them.
That's one reason why I brought it up.
I know.
But no, like seriously, they just like the God thing is like I'm louder. But the God thing in the DC universe does not make any sense because they serve a lot of purpose in some of these freaking storylines. And we just stated that all the Greek gods are dead at some point, like in thanks to Wonder Woman. But are they hiding? They don't explain it properly at all. But there's dead at the moment until Wonder Woman 2, Zeus teaches her how to fucking make things disappear or like whatever the fuck it was. Yeah.
They were
she
hiding
broke the
in
teacup and shit.
Tartarus. They were hiding in Tartarus with Hades, chilling with the fucking I'm not even gonna get started.
Go for it.
You're getting
I'm waiting.
we see
I
it.
can't wait. I can't.
Anyway, my biggest issue with DC, so many of their, and I'm not going to talk about the Christian Bale Batman because that's a great trilogy of films. Man of Steel, I like it. Some people don't. Some people like, I think he's kind of dumb. I'm like, no, he's wearing his undies on the inside for once instead of outside parading his little tidy whitey boxer briefs, showing off his package and his glutes. And most importantly,
the underwear is protection.
It is.
A lot of DC's movies are just box office bombs.
I'm sure he has a jock strap.
Their biggest grossing movie that was a solo movie was Aquaman.
Yeah, and then the second movie bombed.
Even and after that, I would say the first Suicide Squad, as much of a jumbled amalgamation of crap as it was still a funny and fun film to watch.
The Suicide Squad movie?
The first one, not the Suicide Squad, but
yeah, no.
It's weird.
I'm not gonna lie. I was one of the few that kind of enjoyed it, but I liked the behind the scenes of it because they had a fun time with the cast and crew doing their thing. Like I'm not
favorite part from the original Suicide Squad was El Diablo and how everybody's essentially about to die, and he's like, you know what? If I'm gonna go down, I'm going down fucking swinging, bitch. And he turns into a literal Aztec fucking god of death, and it's like, you want to fuck with me? Burn!
No, I did like that too. There's a lot of here and there concepts of like in the first movie of like Suicide Squad that were very good, but like I enjoyed the whole Captain Boomerang with his technology. With his like boomerang, it's like different boomerangs he had that we I wasn't expecting to really have them pull out. I would expect them to keep them with like explosive boomerang, ricocheting boomerang, just a standard
couple of the
boomerang.
basics, maybe like recon boomerang, stuff like that.
Yeah, but they had them pull out some good gadget ones, and like You can see he fucking handmade them and stuff. But and then watching the Suicide Squad kind of pissed me off because I like the Captain Boomerang in that movie because
He
how
was
stupid.
hilarious.
It
I
was
also
good.
enjoyed the fact we get to watch Pete Davidson die.
That's in the second one, yes. But I was so mad when we killed off Boomerang. But it was sad. But Pete Davidson just oh my god, he just got laid out. He thought he was set up and everything, and like he was like, yeah, I'm gonna live. Nope, pop, 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 dead. I'm like, that
Yeah.
was a good choice. Good job, James
Hallelujah.
Gunn.
It
I,
just
I will say I did not.
DC. Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead, Trini. I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
No, I was just gonna say like I'll probably get freaking hung out to dry if I said this, but I did not like the second Suicide Squads. Not like in the aspect of like I completely hate
Beyond
it,
late, no.
but I just like the plot for me just was not there. Like we watched it and I was like, it had funny moments, but I just wasn't like interested in it.
You,
I
what you didn't want a giant starfish villain as a
no,
at the
I
end?
wanted
I
to
don't
We've
want
see
been
a giant.
Idris
chasing a
Alba
starfish.
flex a coconut in half and break it.
I mean, love seeing Idris Alba. Who doesn't love seeing him? But I feel like if you compare like both movies, the original one is better set up to create like a DC universe from compared to this one. Because this one is like a fun one to
Oh,
me. This one's like a fun one-off one. It was a fun like one-off. Like, oh, we went for giant starfish from space
With John
but
Cena.
that's
with
well.
John
The thing is,
Cena.
like, no, you are correct, Trinia. You are correct with the two different movies because the Suicide Squad movie, the first one was supposed to involve the Zack Snyder universe. That's why we had the Zack Snyder Joker and all that stuff, and you're supposed to have this whole thing,
Yeah,
and that was going to tie into something else, and etc., etc., etc. And then nobody picked it up again because nobody really liked the movie that series at all. So the James Gunn said, I'm taking my try at it, and did James Gunn magic to it and changed the whole dynamic of it. Made it more instead
It
of
was
being
more of a
darker,
fuck
more
you.
brighter. What?
So I was just saying what James Gunn did was more of a fuck you, essentially to
Yes.
Disney, and that was just essentially a petty shots being fired movie.
yeah.
And like that, yeah, that's how it went for that movie. That was like you got two different director vibes. You had two different errors going on. After that movie, people preferred that movie for like style for DC, and then James Gunn got whoop right in the DC. He's now the head honcho.
And I'm so glad you ended on that note because with James Gunn, leading the helm of DCU, I really feel that he's going to have to bring his absolute S tier game because DC has waited too late in the game to try to combat Marvel.
Well,
Mar-
I'm
you
not gonna
know,
lie.
DC has had their movies, with Christian Bale's Batman back in the day, but they didn't officially try to start a cohesive piece until way too late. And then you've had so many just plot holes and just plot liberties that people hated, like such as with
But,
Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, of course,
mhm.
both Suicide Squad movies, Wonder Woman, both of her films, and also Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. The first Aquaman was very good. I love that movie. And then, of course, ending out with Blue Beetle, include not and include excluding Blue Beetle, but having Blue Beetle also be brought in on what's already a very failing part of DC EU.
Hmm.
They have to do something because this would be the perfect time for DC to come in and sweep the rug from Marvel
It would.
because where
It
everybody's
would.
tired of the TV shows having to tie into the cinematics. I still have not watched WandaVision, and people have said WandaVision should be the minimum that you watch to keep up. And I'm like, I just can't do it because the TV shows are not what I want. I enjoy going to
But
the movie
how is that one the
theaters,
minimum?
sitting
I'm not
for
sorry.
an hour 40, not even an hour 40, because all Marvel movies are 2 freaking hours now. You sit down for 2 hours,
Mm,
15 minutes, watch this movie, and then you go on about your day instead of having to watch 8 episodes of something being shelled out that's kind of crappy. And it's nothing against the TV shows, but I'm not. That's not what I want. The
Mhm.
TV shows just do not appeal to me.
No, the TV shows are just garbage. It's like it's just too because you're bored and just to fill in gaps and or to like let's say you put out this one movie of like the what's it called? You put out a Justice League movie, let's say that, or like yeah, because we're on DC, and there's that air gap bubble of a previous movie. Let's say you did a DC did a Batman thing,
Yeah.
but now they
Again,
got together. They had that little air bubble. So oh shit, plot hole filler. Make the series. Make a series that ties it all together behind the scene shit. How we got them together quickly and just shush it out. That's basically how like it feels with a lot of these like series that well Marvel's doing, and it doesn't feel like they're just connecting paths, but they're not really connecting them well. It's like it's more band-aiding than actually doing a complete soldering to what you want
Well,
to like this
mm-hmm.
motherboard that you got going here.
I feel like with the shows in general, what I was starting to notice with the shows or what I picked up on is they're using the shows to build up what like you know how like when we had Captain America, we got the whole first movie that basically
Hmm.
gave you his origin story and led to where he is
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're trying to use the shows to do that, and then they're like, all right, movie, and we're just in the action. But it's
Okay.
not. It's just not. It's just not hitting because
No, but like
it's not hitting. I don't like it. I don't like the shows.
I know I'm with you on it, but we're going back to Marvel. We're on
We,
DC.
I
DC not
know.
had has not had a TV show yet that's
I
live
don't want
action
them to have it.
from any of
I'm
the
okay with
series.
them not doing it. I really don't
Because
do
like
that
the
right.
live action their live actions have not held up enough to have them even branch out to make TV shows other than Peacemaker
Peacemaker's
did make a
been
series, but
Peacemaker,
Peacemaker was
early Flash,
separated.
and early Arrow.
I was like
Well, that's DC.
But well,
That's
that's
the
not that's
CW
DC, but
universe,
that's CW still doing
dude.
it
but
That's
the
better than that.
CW
CW doesn't
universe.
count that
But like to
though.
have something actually get pulled off of like an actual movie that exists in this universe that could be existing in James Gunn's "What the fuck's gonna happen now" thing. It was Peacemaker, and Peacemaker they chose a fucked up character and they made him funny and they
It
just
worked.
had a ball and it worked. And you had
It was
bugs
a
that were
very
aliens.
crazy thing to think like, oh, we're gonna
How is this racist gonna do good as a fucking main character,
Yeah.
and how he gonna solve issues with guns and become a better person at the
and
end of the
be
movie?
naked.
A lot of naked. I did not need to see
I have
John
seen
Cena
so much
that
of
much.
John Cena's ass. I'm like,
His
okay,
balls
look,
for no
sir,
reason.
sir, please.
Both of them. I didn't Trivia. See the face, but it's like both ends of that, both sides of that man. We saw too many and just underwear,
Yeah.
and we just we did not need to see.
Yeah, yeah. We sure did, didn't
These
we?
are all CGI.
That was some
Oh,
good old
Jesus.
CGI.
But if I could just take the stand for a moment, and I feel, this might be controversial to some people, and this might, warrant people to cancel me. I honestly
Okay.
want DC to stop making live action movies and shows altogether and just sit down with their animators, give them the same budget, and say, you have complete creative reigns, but these, and I want them to put up, Teen Titans, Young Justice, and like whatever other animated movies, and tell them, this is what we want you to give us. Give us the heart of Teen Titans and Young Justice, but also give us the heart wrenching action of some of our other animated films. And they could do so much better than Marvel in every capacity.
They would release if they like doing what you said and release that in theaters. I'll go see that. I'll go see that.
The thing is, like,
Let me go.
that's not a bad idea. I'm not gonna try to cancel you. I'm backing you on that one. because right now they are failing. Their moneymaker is animated movies and shows for them, except for Teen Titan Go. You
The
can leave
Knights
that one in
Against
the
the Sign is
dumpster.
the only good part.
Um, but but with this animated movies and stuff, like it's funny. Like anime movies are coming to movies now. Like next this
Hmm.
like literally tomorrow, I'm going to go see Gurgen Lagann in theaters. One of their old movies that they were putting in that's finally getting was it dubbed now,
Yeah, it's finally getting
and
an English
like
dub.
then we're getting they're bringing back old movies,
The
but they're
Cowboy
bringing in
Bebop
the
movie on
new.
Monday the 21st. Don't forget to buy your tickets.
I know I need to buy that, and the next Lagann freaking movie that's coming out in a month.
Same week.
Um, yeah, this is gonna be back to back movies for us with with anime movies. But like
Love that.
these are older movies; they're already pre existing. But like for a time being, for the last few years, they've been dropping brand new movies here and there in the theaters that are kind of here and there delayed because of the whole different like with us getting everything later on.
Hmm.
But like they make a lot of money. Like look at Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer was only supposed to be in theaters for like a few days. That lasted a few weeks in
Hmm.
theaters. Dragon Ball Superheroes. That was in theaters for a really long freaking period of time. It was not supposed to be in theaters that long either. They have a good handful of movies that really stayed in theaters longer than it should have,
Hmm.
and they did decent amount of money. So like if we bring in do the whole same thing, not say the same animation style, but do the same thing like what that they're doing, bring in these animated movies. Fucking goddamn it! We had Studio Ghibli, freaking The Boy
The
and the
Boy and the
Heron.
Heron. Oh,
That was
Tristan, don't
amazing.
forget
That was
we
in
talked
Yeah.
theater.
about Digimon Tri
Did you?
02, and that was
Uh,
nothing but action and just soul wrenching tears the whole time.
yeah. No, that Digimon, the new Digimon movie that came out was heartbreaking and crazy,
That still
and
keeps me
that
up
was a
at night.
great adventure.
Oh
But
god.
like it's like Disney, no, not the DC just needs to go and say fuck it. Let's just do that and wing it with the movies, see how it goes in theaters, and see if we make a decent amount of money out of it.
Hmm.
I would say like a month, like even a month's worth for their animate. I wouldn't say a month's worth. A month worth, maybe 2 months in theaters. That's not bad. Like as length, same length almost as a regular standard movie. Then they drop it into Blu-ray or DVD style formatting afterwards. Then
Release it on
streaming
streaming.
afterwards. Right at I think that's where we fuck up on a lot of
Yeah,
things with
streaming
these
has
people out
also
here.
played a big part on
Streaming.
killing movies as well.
I think they do ass backwards with this whole streaming thing. With like streaming should be last for any fucking movie for me.
Really
I
should.
think
It
I'm not gonna lie. I reap the benefits of how they put streaming out before even the DVD format. But if you really want to make money, you put out that damn Blu-ray or the damn DVD, fucking
4K.
fucking VHS out there, and you put that shit out there on the store in the stores and getting people to buy your movie because you're not putting that out the stream yet. Hold that bitch. And those people are really pity and say, I'm gonna wait until it hits my streaming services. Screw
I'm
them.
not
They
gonna
can just
lie.
then they can wait. Then make it longer.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Make it
I've done it
longer.
before though.
Go make them buy that freaking Blu-ray, DVD, VHS with the digital download code like I used to buy when I was a kid. Okay?
Listen,
I forgot about those digital
ticket
download
services have
codes.
got crazy
Dude,
anyway.
those combinations, those three in one bundle,
Oh
freaking for
man,
$27. That's not a bad
that's
deal,
a hell
man.
of a
Come
deal.
on.
That's
It
how I
was
That's
got
three
the Alien
movies.
collection.
You had you had three different platform movies. One, if you didn't have a Blu-ray player, you're gonna get one soon. And then if you did have a PlayStation and a DVD player, you can watch it either way. And then if you're on the travel, you had a DVD, you had a digital. We're fucking up here, guys.
Yeah, but it obviously I do feel like we've said everything we can about DC. You could just look at their
I don't
business
know.
model and say, yeah, this is a failing company. I give them another 15 years at best.
No, 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 no. We gotta go. We gotta keep talking about the streaming for DC. DC for streaming for Marvel, they built up into streaming universe territory because they weren't doing so much streaming with their stuff. They were slowly bringing it in and
Mhm.
here and there, and then started doing the series and stuff. DC really just like once they had the HBO Go and all the HBO Now and all that stuff, their movies went right to those fucking streaming apps.
Mhm.
Because they
And
offered
like
them a big paycheck.
yeah, they did all kinds of stuff with their movies and their shows and everything they had like as animated stuff and like live action. They just shoved them on these apps really quick and all that stuff and like it didn't seem right to me why we just forcefully just fed us everything. It's nice, but not healthy at the same time for a company to do that. So
Absolutely.
like Disney kind of tried to get it good for a bit, but they're just screwing up with stories and mass producing crap. Where the DC is just
They're
look what they
just
did with Wonder
essentially
Woman.
beating a cocaine
Carcass.
addicted cow.
But like no, look at what they did with Wonder Woman 2.
Oh yeah,
Wonder Woman
I
2.
still haven't watched that.
We don't need to
Oh,
talk
God,
about it.
you don't need to watch it.
I
They
saw
they
clips.
they did they did good beating a well healthy horse to the ground with one good movie. Um,
Mhm.
but like it's like no, it's like the what's it called? It's just like they put it out in theaters and they did streaming, and do that they put it out in streaming it didn't do much money. Like it didn't do bring in much money
Mhm.
because they gave you that extra option
Mm-hmm.
instead of like making people go out in theaters to go see it. I get it. We were doing like quarantine shit and all that shit, but like that kind of just hurt that fucking movie.
Mhm.
They kind of did the same thing with Black Widow with freaking what's it called Marvel, but Black
Marvel dropped
Widow
the ball on that one.
Black Widow was a long-awaited movie. We're gonna go back to Marvel for a second. That was a long-awaited
I don't
movie
wanna
that
talk
should have
about it.
happened before she died. We shouldn't have brought her back to do a fuck you fucking movie.
We should have
And the
had Black
whole
Widow before Avengers.
yes, no Black Widow or after Avengers because after Avengers
Yeah,
she could have done her little
you could
thing
have done a
too.
little side thing. Yeah,
Like it could have worked either way, but like it's just like they kind of dropped the ball and the animation for like the CGI and everything for that movie was god awful.
It was
They did Scarlett Johansson pretty wrong with that movie.
completely. They had to sue
no.
them.
Mhm.
And I
The
do
They
whole
did sue
understand
them
people
actually, yeah.
wanting to wash their hands from Disney because, obviously since podcasts and, interviews have become a very popular form of media, everyone
hmm
has been talking about, yeah, I've had this ABC experience with D company and I'm never working with them ever again. And burning bridges with, of course, big name celebrities, actors, actresses, producers, so on and so forth.
hmm
Who do you think that they hang out with? They hang out with the people who are still scouting young talent, looking for the next star. They're hanging
Mhm.
out with people who have been in the business, 30, 40 years, like Martin Scorsese, so on and so forth, people like him. And they're like, yeah, don't, if you ever, well, Martin Scorsese I have various opinions on because he has his own opinions on this whole superhero epidemic, but that's neither here nor there. People talk, and people talk especially truthful in private.
Mhm.
And the one thing that people do, especially when they talk in private, they tell the whole truth and nothing but that.
Speaking from
True.
the roof.
Fucking true.
But let's see. That's actually all of my notes. We went through so much. If you
Yeah.
guys are ready to close out, I just have some closing footnotes and shout outs I wanted to do and some shots and shades to throw. Crispy already started it with
Okay.
Godzilla -1. So can we get W's in chat for Mateo Crispy for that?
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
as film enjoyers and audiences of cinema and media in general, we want one thing: an enjoyable piece of cinema. With Godzilla -1, as we said, it had a budget of around $15 million and it grossed, nearly double and triple that. another great movie that had a low budget but did a very awesome job. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at
Yes, that was
Freddy's.
a great
If
movie.
you haven't seen it,
Great.
watch it on Peacock. It's there. I believe it still has a few showings in theaters, possibly one or two. That movie had such a low budget. It was, I'm not going to call it the Enter the Dragon of films as far as, you know, the plot, the action, everything, but I'm calling it that based on the budget to box office, you know, money that it made. It
But like,
And for the record, the budget was 20 million. They
it
made
has grossed almost
100.
300.
and that's another funny thing is we're talking about.
294.6.
Go ahead.
Wow. No, I was saying it was 294.6. It's a little crazy.
But that's another thing we're talking about, like how we have streaming and bringing things to theater at the same time. That movie still brought in people in the theaters after even watching it for streaming. They actually went to fucking theaters and went to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Me, on the other hand, I did not go to theaters and see it on streaming. I literally watched it on streaming only. But I do feel bad that I did not go see it in theaters.
It was it was a very enjoyable experience in theaters.
I feel like it'd be a different experience also because you're in the darker environment. You're watching it like with the whole freaking what's it called, the everybody in the theaters with you just watching it, and I feel like it'd be a different environment as well. But I did not have that experience.
Seeing Five Nights in theaters definitely was, I would say, the proper way to watch it, but definitely watching it at home. I would say, you know, if you watch it in the dead of night, you know, nobody's awake, all the lights are off, you'll get the same experience.
Okay.
But there's another movie. It's an A24 movie. I think it's called Talk to Me.
Talk to
Me? Yes, I heard that was
with the hand.
It's like with the hand.
Yes, with the hand.
That's with the hand.
It's with the hand. A24.
Yes, it's called Talk to Me. Again, another low budget movie, but everybody that I knew that watched it, especially our friend Latre, shout out to the OG. He always supports us. He said it was a very, you know, creepy and scary movie, but it was also very good for what it was. That movie had a budget of like $4.5 million, and I think it grossed 100. Like,
really?
Just when you look at the numbers of small budgeted movies compared to these essentially, you know, billion-dollar projects that are just doing shit, where you can see what the audience has started tuning into because we're tired of it. I don't need to see, you know, this isn't a shot at Godzilla or any, you know, CGI giant computer generated monster. I don't need a $300 million budget with a CGI monster when I can get that same monster for $15 million in a budget.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, the message of the movie and the cohesiveness of what it wants to embody is just done to such a perfect T that I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to go back to the movies again and see it. And for me, I'm a big movie person. A lot of people are like, I can't sit that long and watch a movie, but you can sit and watch 6 seasons of a show in 2 days. That's bullcrap, and you're a liar. That's neither here nor there. But saying I want to go back to the movies and rewatch something isn't a phrase I have uttered or said in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, obviously, Crispy, me and you have talked because we, you know, we say it a lot for anime movies. You know, I want to go back and see it again, but it's only here for one day. Or even how when we talked Five Nights at Freddy's, we were like, I would love to go back and see that again if someone invited me. I want that to come back to movies. I want these directors to sit down and really think, do I need this huge ass budget just to have these A-listers who are the big names people are going to come see? Or can I get, like how at Five Nights at Freddy's, they got, I can't think of his name, Peter the
Josh.
Boy with Bread. They had Matt Pat, they had Corey X Kenshin. They had other well-known people, but they made it fit in a low budget so much that, yes, we have these very recognizable individuals, but they're not the focal point of why you want to come see this.
Right.
I went to see Five Nights at Freddy's from Matthew Lillard. I am a Matthew Lillard supporter.
That Matthew literally he ate that. Like he did such a good job. He I just can't even
Just
explain it. It
if
was
we can find
phenomenal.
the key to immortality, he's like number 3 on the list of people we have to save.
Damn, agree. And then on top of that, the fact that they had living Tombstone song for Five
Oh
Nights at
yeah,
Freddy's
they did at
'cause
the end. The
yeah,
Five Nights at
they
Freddy's.
like
Yeah.
it was like a because it didn't have the best ratings, but I feel like the movie itself, a lot of they tried the best they could to put like a lot of love into it.
I
And
would
I miss that in movies, you know, movies that just have that love that's put into it, somebody who actually cares. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you're trying to make money, but you're also you're creating an art and you're trying to share your art with the world. And if
mhm,
you're only
mhm.
focused on the money, then like you lose that like personalization, that creativity in shit, you know?
And I couldn't have said that better myself because as me and Crispy both said when we did our Five Nights and Digimon episode, the
Mhm.
personalization and just love letter that they did to Five Nights at Freddy's, I don't care what anybody says. If they said that was a bad movie, they're crazy. They took a mobile game which has very scattered and obscure lore and turned it into a singular cohesive piece that's easy to follow.
Street
And they
games.
threw in that banger of a song "Talking in Your Sleep" by the Romantics and had the animatronics sing and
True.
dance to it, which was fucking cool.
Right.
Mhm.
But we've discussed that. That's neither here nor there.
I I had Trinia for that movie. We're gonna keep going a little bit with this. I had Trinia for that movie that helped me work with this because I didn't know that much lore. Then I started watching more lore videos.
Yeah, and
And I'm not gonna lie,
shout out to Matt.
there is too many. There's too much for you to do anything with this movie, and they did a really good fucking job matching it all together to give us one good fucking movie. So
The
that's
lore,
great.
yeah, like the lore for
It's confusing as
it
hell.
gets real crazy because like when you play the original game, they're not telling you the story as it happens. It's like little pop ups of shit happening, explaining what
Mhm.
happens to the kids, and you're kind of putting it together. It's not like the kid got his head bit off. You're just kind of seeing it happen. And so and that's a lot of the
Mhm.
plot. Like, you really didn't start kind of getting, like, an actual story until, like, there started to be actual narration from the characters, which I can't think which game it was, but it's the later games. So the fact that they were able to try to put something together with basic visuals and assumptions is you gotta give them their props for it. You got because like a lot of people would have taken
Yeah.
this project on. They probably would have jumped to Security Breach and be like, "We'll make one about Security Breach because we could just copy the game and call it a happy day."
That's very true.
Facts. That's what they did with freaking what's it called? Wow, god damn it. Ratchet and Clank.
They just call,
Oh god.
"Oh,
Ratchet and Clank, the movie, they
oh,
basically copy and paste the first game and just polish it up a bit.
oh,
And then they
yeah."
had the
Yeah.
nerve to re-release the fucking game again with the movie like all the movie cutscenes, all the change up to it, but with the original game playthrough.
I
Bullshit.
forgot they did a Ratchet and Clank movie.
But
Don't
I
forget
think
Ratchet and Clank.
we've, talked enough about both
Yeah.
DC, about the two leading superhero franchises, how smaller movies are outperforming them in terms of audience reviews and scores,
Mhm.
and also a box office when you look at budget to earnings ratio. And I think we're going to get ready to sign off, everybody. So, Crispy,
Yes.
before we do, if you would like to give the picks you have for next week's episode on our regularly scheduled podcast.
We're gonna have to drag in a special guest of ours. No, it's not. I'm gonna save. We're gonna save our friend. I want to bring in our friend Billy at one point, but we're gonna have that Final Fantasy movie come to theaters. I'm gonna try to save him for that one. We're gonna push it back. He's a little nervous anyway. Let's go with that. Um, let's go with this. I've been wanting to do this one, but it's been up in there and how to bring it properly to the podcast. It's gonna be Dragon Ball Superheroes as the main movie, and then I would say at least the first. I want to go with the first two episodes of Dragon Ball Bridge.
I knew it. I knew this was gonna happen.
This is the
I
plot. I
knew it.
told you this, Jerry. I just wanted to go with it because we have
Oh,
had Jimmy, we have Trinia now. I want to bring in a Steve.
a Steve.
I want to bring in a Steve.
We know there's multiple
And
Steves.
PlayStation Steve. The man, the myth, the hour, the only Steve we talk to at a daily basis. Our feet loving buddy.
Debatable.
I will call him out right now. Stevie, I need to bring him on here.
All right.
So
everyone, if you don't want to be spoiled for Dragon Ball Z Abridged by Team 4-Star, episodes 1 and 2, or did you want to
I
go one
want to
through
say
4?
let's go 1 and
Just like the
how
whole
long is
season.
it?
They're not very long, so I was like, I don't know
Yeah,
how.
let's go 1 and 4 then. 1 through 4 then.
Okay.
To give it a decent chunk.
Well, if you don't want to be spoiled for episodes 1 through 4 and Dragon Ball Super Heroes, make sure you watch it. Same podcast place, different podcast time. And
Yes.
with that, everybody, we're gonna eat dinner and have a good night.
Damn straight.
Good night, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Girl Scout.